let's do this problem together. Well, I'm assuming you're going to pause it at key points and keep working together. Remember that seeing me do it is not the same as you're doing it yourself. So struggle with this, and when you're stuck, look at this screencast. All right, so this problem I think you'll recognize is very similar to other problems we've seen. So in some ways it feels like I'm beating this horse dead, but let's go ahead and keep whacking at that horse. Suppose this is one of the things that I definitely want you to just be able to do very fluently, individually and as groups. Suppose two countries with domestic cap and trade policies are considering linking their two systems. Now we're talking about a countrywide marginal cost of cleanup, which would be the horizontal summation of all the firms' cleanup functions in that country. You don't need to know that particularly, but anyway, that's what we're thinking about, countries here instead of companies. Anyway, so country A has a cap of 20 tons of emissions, domestic marginal cost of abatement of MCA equals 0.2 QA, and that's the tons, QA is the tons cleaned up. And then without any regulation, country A firms would be emitting 60 tons of pollution. Country B, those numbers, they've got to limit output of pollution to 40 tons. They have a marginal cost of abatement 0.5 QB, and they have 84 tons would be emitted without any regulation, so they've got to clean up 44. So I'm asking you to find the price of an emissions permit in country A and the price of an emissions permit in country B, and we're assuming no trading at this point. So let's proceed. We know that cleanup, I guess I should go to the pen, there we go. Cleanup in country A is 40, right? Unregulated, they produce 60, and then they have a cap of just 20, so 60 minus 20 is 40. And then we also know that under a permit system or under a fee, marginal costs are equalized across all firms, and thus the country marginal cost would be that equal marginal cost among all firms. So we know that the price of a permit is just equal to the marginal costs of in country A. So that's all we need to do to figure out what a permit sells for in country A. MCA is equal to 0.2 QA, which is equal to 0.2 times 40. That 40 comes from their unregulated outcome being 60 and their cap being 20. So that difference has got to be cleaned up. And 0.2 times 40 is 8. So if there were no international permit trading system, the cost of one permit would be 8. All right, and then cleanup in B, the logic is exactly the same, only the circumstances are somewhat different. In country B, marginal costs are 0.5 QB, and the mandated cleanup in country B is 44, because they would emit 84 without any regulation, and their cap is at 40. That difference is 44. Well, 0.5 times 44 is 22. And that's all there is to the first of these two application exercises. The answers that you would have filled in those blanks with were 8 and 22, and this is where those numbers come from. The next application exercise, I think I can get these all done within 10 minutes or so on one screencast. The next one asks us, well, what about if they opened up to trade? How would things look? And this is a problem we've seen before, but now instead of firms within one country, we're opening up trading across the two countries. So that's all the firms in country A would be able to trade with all the firms in country B. And where would that leave us? Under an international trading system, the characteristics that we've studied within nation trading systems hold internationally. So what does that look like? What that looks like is that in that trading outcome, the marginal costs in country A would equal the marginal costs in country B. And thus, 0.2 QA is equal to 0.5 times QB, and that means that QA is equal to 2.5 times QB. Well, we also know that QA plus QB has to equal to the 40 that were cleaned up before just in country A plus the 44 in country B. That sum has to be 84. And again, this kind of trading system would be appropriate for pollution that was a global pollutant like greenhouse gases that in this situation, we don't care where they get cleaned up. Anywhere on Earth, it would have the same effect. Clean up a ton of this pollutant would have the same effect wherever it was cleaned up across the globe. Well, now we can substitute what we know about this QA into this one, and we get 2.5 times QB, that's another way to express QA, plus QB is equal to 84, and we find that that's 3.5 QB is equal to 84. Turns out QB is equal to 24, and that means QA is equal to 60. And we can figure out the price of a permit traded internationally as well. We know that would equal the marginal cost of abatement in either country A or country B. The price of a permit, I don't remember whether I asked you this, but it's easy enough. Price of a permit would be equal to 0.2 times 60 or to 0.5 times 24. Each of them gets us to an answer of 12. And there we have it.